Now, what made you want to work with wolves? I know there's a huge following with wolves. I mean, you go on my social media. I mean, I have tons of friends that are just. I mean, there's something just about the wolves that are just majestic. Alone, they have just such a following. But what made
Yeah.
you want to start working with wolves?
So I couldn't tell you what it was, but as a child, something, called to me the first time I saw wolves, on a poster or on a calendar. And I'm from southern Minnesota originally, so we have wolves way up north, but I'd never even seen them in person outside of zoos. But I just had something in me that said, this is, important to you. This is an interest to you. And so I just started consuming all the wolf related information I
Yeah,
could. And I actually started writing letters to sanctuaries, including Wild Spirit, just across the country. And I still have this binder full of responses and
that's
photos
great.
and posters. So at that age, I didn't really know what was out there for working with wolves. Like I kind of always was like, I'll just work at Yellowstone. But then the first summer outside of my first year of college, I actually got to go work at a facility with wolves in captivity. And they were all, born and raised by people from babyhood. So they were fairly social. But again, these are wild
Sure.
animals. So they did take a long time to warm up to me and to
Right.
build bonds. But the minute that I started to work with them in a captive setting where I got to have a relationship, it was something I knew I wanted. And so I kind of dropped the Yellowstone dream and said, let me look into facilities. And sanctuary spoke to me more than anything because
Yeah.
they have a huge opportunity to make a major difference in the lives of these animals, many of which come from serious neglect and abuse. So
Absolutely.
I started going down that avenue, and it was just like every experience I had with them solidified that, this is what I was good at. It made sense to me. It was like easy as breathing. And so I've kind of just progressed through my career, climbing the ladder, and working at various facilities with wolves and other species. But every time I didn't work with wolves, it was like just pulling me, like
Yeah.
you gotta get somewhere else where you got wolves, and that's where you're meant to be. So yeah, that's kind of, I couldn't tell you what it was, but it was something in there and something innate, and it just screamed like, this is your path.
Right. No, that's great. And did you go to school for animal welfare, any husbandry or something like that?
Yeah, so I have a bachelor's degree in just general biology. Even though I knew I was going to do this my whole life, it felt like the right degree to get in case I needed to fall back on something kind of in between getting into this field, because it is a highly competitive field. So there's
Yeah.
never any guarantee that you're just going to leave college and get into it.
Right.
So I wanted something practical, and most jobs postings that I was seeing wanted at least a 4-year biology or similar science degree. So my school didn't offer um, like zoology or anything specific to wolves or carnivores, but I did get to take a lot of classes that talked about them, especially being from Minnesota and going to school in
Hmm.
Wisconsin where we have a native population. It
Right.
was discussed a lot. So I feel like I got a little bit more exposure than I otherwise would have if I was studying something like, tigers or
Sure.
elephants.
Sure. Sure. And then there's nothing like experience, right? Working at a sanctuary, getting hands-on
Yeah.
experience, and seeing the day-to-day of the lives of these wolves, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that first experience that I had, I would say hands down, within 3 months, I knew more about what I was going to do for a career than I learned in 4 years of college.
Sure.
I was working with 23 adult wolves and 7 brand new babies that needed to be hand raised after their mother rejected them. So it was a hard and fast learning lesson. And I know that probably is like ringing bells for a lot of people that, oh, that sounds amazing, but it is some hard work. And this is not a career field that is for the faint of heart. But again, it just really solidified for me that, like, blood, sweat, and tears, I was going to do this. And it did. It taught me a lot. And doing rescue in the capacity of what we do here at Wild Spirit, where we
Right.
have almost 60 animals,
Wow.
that's 60 different personalities from, many different species, and they have a variety of backgrounds and health conditions and contents. And so, yeah, it's learning new things every single day.
Right. Yeah, and that's something I remember we talk about in our film about how this is such a labor of love that these people have, that they dedicate their lives just like yourself, is just to help and educate the people that, this is going on with all these, specifically with you, with the species, with wolves. But to continue educating the public about what's going on, and of course giving these wolves, the best, life they could have after all the abuse that they've probably, have had, prior to arriving at Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary. So that's great.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's really cool that we've taken on this additional sort of level of education outside of even the general public with the development of a new internship program. So we can offer that same experience that I got to maybe kids that are fresh out of college or
Oh,
still in college that want to do this, and they're coming in, they're doing the exact same work that our staff do, working hands on with these animals in a variety of capacities. So it really shows you, if you're cut out for this field in the capacity of a, keeper or an animal caretaker, or if maybe it's not quite the right fit for you.
right.
And even then, even if you're not prepared for that labor of love, like there's a lot of things that people can do outside of this to advocate for animals and, educate friends and family and share content and just kind of get their passion fixed that way. So we
Right.
try to offer a lot of opportunities for people to give the love that they have within them for these animals in different ways.